When it comes to your life, when it comes to your health, you are primarily responsible for your health and your life. Thank God for the doctors. I have been seriously disturbed by something that I heard in recent time. Talking to one of this first time as I came to church, I think 2 weeks ago, the conversation we had kind of leave a serious impression on me that I feel it would be right if I can, try to address it. Perhaps there are many other people who are having similar situations or going through similar things, and perhaps this will help. I don't know, but perhaps this will help. I was talking to this young lady. Actually, she was in church for the very first time, and I did pray for her. But after the service, the cousin, who invited her, came with her to me to talk to me after the service. And as I was asking, she told me, of course, she was suffering from diabetes. I think type 2 diabetes, something like that. And she's been suffering for that since she was, I think, 9 years old. Yes, since she was 9 years old. And at the time we're talking 2 weeks ago, I think she's close to her 21st birthday. So that's about about 11 years she have had type 2 diabetes. And she's been on insulin, And this is the part that pained me, where I felt so disturbed. She told me how that every time she eats, she will have to take an insulin shot. She have to inject herself to kind of bring down her glucose, her blood sugar. And why do I feel disturbed? Now I'm thinking, since 9 years to now about 20, 21 years old, she's been on this injection. Then I thought about, for how long is she going to live that way? Maybe you're watching me now and you are suffering from the same thing, For how long? And, in recent time also, I've been doing research and trying to study on health for many reasons, And I found out that, of course, this is something that many people are not aware of, but there are two kinds of medicine, There are two kinds of medicine. There's a functional medicine and there's the medicine of disease control, which is the disease control medicine is actually what we have in our nation, where all the doctors that you will meet around have been trained in disease management and maybe control. You see, but there's something called functional medicine. Functional medicines focus mainly on health, not disease, on health. On health here, what I mean by that is that it focuses on prevention of sickness. It focuses on helping people live a healthy life. You see, the subject of health is so important to me, and I'm sure to you as well, because you see, when somebody's health is challenged, everything kind of comes to a standstill. See, and for some reason, many people believe that when it comes to your health, there's really nothing we can do. I mean, it's just life, but it's not true. Now, think about a young lady who have to go around everywhere with a needle and some medicine called insulin that she must, if she eats, anytime she eats, she have to inject. That's not a. And of course, when I talked to her, I could see the pain in her eyes. That's not the life she have desired for herself. See, and most doctors will tell you that there is no cure for diabetes. Like they say that there's no cure for high blood pressure and all of those stuff. And basically, what we do is we just accept what the doctor told us. And I mean, he's a doctor after all. So what do I know? So you accept it and you decide this is my fate for life. But it's not true. As a matter of fact, I found out that when it comes to your life, when it comes to your health, You are primarily responsible for your health and your life. Thank God for the doctors, thank God for their intervention, when we fail. But the truth is this: there's a way you can live your life that some of the so-called incurable disease can naturally be reversed. And these things, like I said, make no mistake about it. Every effective medication has side effects. Effective means it controls what, for example, what it was given for. Take for instance, you're taking high blood pressure medication, and for some reason your blood pressure is now down. While it's controlling that blood pressure, it's creating a new problem. You see, because that's not the way life was designed, for people to live on medication. So, take for example the type 2 diabetes and blood sugar spike and all of those stuff. What caused blood sugar spike? This is so obvious knowledge. What causes it? Food. You see, food. And to be honest with you, most of the diseases, majority of the diseases that people have come from the kind of food or their relationship with food. Majority of the diseases. See, so somebody who have type 2 diabetes, for example, in the case of this young lady who every time she eats, her blood sugar spikes, and she needs to take an insulin shot to kind of bring it down to the normal range. For me, I think one of the simplest things you can do, or if you are in that kind of situation you can do, is to change the food you eat. You see, it's a common knowledge that there are food that spike glucose level, and there are also food that doesn't spike the blood sugar. You see, take for example, when people hear of diabetes, of course most people know is that it's caused by sugar, and for some reason people don't know what sugar is. They believe is that that particles you got in the plastic bag, like either white sugar or brown sugar. So that's what they think is sugar. So they say, no, I don't take sugar anymore. Instead of sugar, I use honey. Or say, no, I only eat fruits. All of these things are still sugar. Your blood and your body cannot tell whether or not this sugar is from honey, or like I said, animal base is from honey, or it's from plant. Your blood cannot distinguish between it. See, so if you have issue with diabetes, of course, which is due to insulin resistance, one of the things you can do is avoid all forms of sugar, be it honey, be it fruits, all forms of fruits. You avoid it. And then again, you cut down, because again, almost all the carbohydrate food that people eat also are glucose. Almost all. Your maize meal, your rice, your pasta, all of these things they're all glucose. And then again, when we talk about carbohydrates, I understand that there are different kinds of carbohydrate. There's a simple carbohydrate and there's a complex carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrate are those ones that are absorbed quicker. Like the bread. You eat it and before long it's absorbed, it goes into the blood straight and it spikes your blood sugar. There are complex ones like potato that take a bit of time to digest and therefore doesn't just jump into your blood immediately, right? And then there's another form of food that many people are not even too conscious of, which is protein, especially plant-based protein. There's been a lot of stories against it, like, no, you can't take protein because meats, because it will cost what do you call it? It will cost. Let me remember the word. Like, there's a lot of argument about meat because it will cost your heart to fail and all of these things, but that's a big lie. Especially fatty meat, for many reasons. First and foremost, when you eat meat, you eat animal-based proteins. One of the things that happens to you is that first it digests slowly, meaning it doesn't just digest and jump into your blood to cause blood spike, like a bread will cause. That's number one. And then number two, the major thing that your body will take from that meat or that plant animal-based protein that you're eating is amino acid. You see, and of course, the more fatty that meat is, the better for your blood, the better for you. So if of course, like I'm talking to you now, I'm speaking based on functional medicine that focuses on health. See, you can really change the food you eat, edit your diet. It will go a long way to impact your health. See, you can maybe try eat more of animal-based products. It could be red meat, it could be eggs, it could be chicken and fish. Eat more of those things and little or less and less of carbohydrates. And again, of course, if you're already having issue with diabetes, you should also minimize the frequency of your eating. You don't eat all the time. And as a matter of fact, also, nobody actually need to eat. You eat breakfast, and then you have brunch, then you have lunch, then you have late, snacks, then you have dinner. That's too much activity on your system. See, for me, I believe in eating one big healthy breakfast and then burn it up all the way till dinner. Why? Because now you are trying to recover your health. You are trying to bring your body back to normal functions. You see, instead of depending on drugs, why don't you just change some of this basic lifestyle? Look, for example, this time last year I was very fat. Yeah, I was very fat, and I believe I was healthy. Why? Because I have no pains, I have nothing wrong. So I felt I was okay. But then coming towards the end of the year, coming to discover that no, there's been a problem all along. See, so that's for diets. That's for diets. For me, if I advise, I'll say eat more proteins. See, eat more proteinous food, especially animal-based proteins. And trust me, you can actually do without carbohydrates. Yeah, you can. Of course, they'll tell you you need carbs for energy because your brain needs the energy or the sugar to function. The sugar can come from the fats. See, it can come from the protein. And then again, also you learn to get busy, become active as a person. See, become active as a person. Learn to work. If you can afford a bicycle, why not? Buy one for yourself. See, when people think about health, they think about, okay, when I have time, I go to the gym, and then I'm going to gym. No, your your daily lifestyle could be a continuous exercise. Instead of driving from here to there, you walk or you cycle a bicycle. You see. And then, of course, when you have time, you can go to the gym and do all of those stuff. But let me tell you, when you become conscious about living healthy, you will live healthy. That's the fact. So don't put your life on hold or put your life on a medicine support. If you are on it right now, I'm not telling you to quit, but what I'm saying is this: if you adjust your lifestyle and begin to change some of these basic things, it won't be long before you're off of all medication. Let me tell you, the God who made your body formed this body to function for as long as you live. Function healthily for as long as you live. The health issues, like I said, most of them are acquired through habits, through, of course, bad habits, bad dieting, and so on. So that really it gets me to think and see what people are going through. I could never have imagined that a young lady like that have to move around everywhere with a needle injecting herself because of some diabetes that she had since she was little. And that also let me, make me want to talk to you now who are parents. Be careful how you indulge your children. See, life is not just only about chocolates and sweets and all these sweet and sugary things. No. There are many kids right now who don't eat any form of nutritious food. They just eat junks. And for some reason, some people believe that is they are rich because they can afford pizza and afford Hungry Lion and fries, all kinds of fried things. And then if it's not that one, then it's cookie, then it's chocolate, then it's ice cream. Then and you think, no, you're being a good father or a good parent because you give your children whatever they want. See, but as a good parent, you are supposed to know that you are not supposed to give your children what they want. You are supposed to give them what they need. You see, you are supposed to train your children and teach them on the importance of these things. Because the truth is that also almost all the food we have in our shops today are full of all kinds of chemicals that are not supposed to be in human body. But you who is the parent, you are the one to help the children to make the right decisions. Tell them why it's not good to always eat chocolates and ice creams and all the sweets and all those things all the time. See, taking ice cream for a treat and pizza for a treat once in a while, understandable, but it cannot be what they love. So my kids only enjoy pizza, or my kids only. No. You see, as you grow up in life, you also know, you learn to distinguish between what you enjoy and what is necessary. Because most of these health challenges can be avoided. So, yeah, I don't know what you're going through. But anyway, let me know in the comment section and let's engage and see what we can do. I believe that we can really have a healthy society by educating people properly, correctly. Nobody needs to live on drugs to survive. Thank you. I'll see you again in the next video. Have a great day.